So this exercise is called pushing away the paper, and it's a great experiential metaphor, and by that I mean a metaphor that the person can actually take part in and experience as opposed to just talk about. And it's a great metaphor for acceptance and experiential avoidance. But really, I find it useful as a way to introduce the whole idea of acceptance and commitment therapy. In fact, this was one of the very first exercises I learnt in ACT, and I still use it with 99% of my clients today. I picked it up from my very first ACT course run by two great ACT trainers, Rich Bennett from the University of Birmingham and Think Psychology, and Joe Oliver from Contextual Consulting. And this changed my whole perspective about what we do with thoughts, and was probably the first shift I had away from thought challenging. There's probably loads of ways you could set this up, but this is how I tend to do it. You will need a pen and a piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, I want you to write a thought that comes up for you often. A thought that you get stuck in or hooked on. A thought that's a bit sticky for you. Just a note here, this doesn't have to be a thought. It can be a feeling or a memory or a sensation or anything really that you experience or the person you're working with experiences. And I'm going to talk through this exercise with things that are relevant to me, but obviously if you're using this exercise yourself, then use things that are meaningful to you, or if you are using this with a client, then use things that the client have brought to the session that is meaningful to them. So I am going to write down on my piece of paper the thought, I am not good enough. Right, so out here in my world is everything that matters to me. My wife, my kids, my mum, my grandma, my dog, my friends, my clients, my work, that's important to me. Listening to music is important to me. Playing my guitar, reading books, cooking food, going out to restaurants, going to the cinema, all of those things that I love in life. And also out there are all the things that are challenging to me, such as balancing family, work and making videos. Staying on top of things financially, earning money. Being the best therapist I can, keeping up with the latest research. Trying to stay healthy, so eating better and doing exercise. And not only that, there's all the things I have to do, like getting washed, doing the dishes, doing the clothes washing, keeping the house clean, going to work, paying the bills. Now let's pick up our sheet of paper, and I'm going to try and push this thought as far away from me as I can. Really push those arms out. Get that thought as far away as possible from me. Because this is what society tells us to do, isn't it? Push those thoughts away. Let's try and push harder. Now let's notice, how difficult is this for me? I'm so tired already, my arms are aching and it's only been a few seconds. Imagine this all day. How distracting is this for me? Can I focus on things that are really meaningful to me? Can I give them my full present attention? What action can I take when I'm doing this, when all my energy and focus is on this? Imagine me as a therapist, talking to a client and I've got these thoughts in my head and I'm trying to push them away. And how tiring that is for me. Trying to focus on what my client is saying to me and trying to think of an answer and how I'm going to respond. So pushing this thought or feeling or sensation away, trying to get it away from me just isn't working. It's making me distracted, it's making me genuinely tired, and I'm missing out on all of this kind of cool stuff going on in the world around me. Right, now let's try something else. This time, instead of pushing the thoughts away, I'm going to really focus on them. I'm going to get really stuck on them and hooked by them, as if they are the only thing I can see. I'm going to hold the paper just in front of my nose and see how I get on. Now, I can tell you this feels less tiring, but how can I interact with the world like this? How can I engage with what is meaningful and important to me? How can I give things my fullest present attention? I can't see a thing. Imagine trying to watch a film like this. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone like my wife or my daughter or my friend with this in my face and me just being focused on that. Imagine I went for a walk and I wanted to experience nature and the scenery, and all I could focus on was this, just all the stuff I'm missing out on. Imagine if I was a therapist and I had this in front of my face, just getting all caught up and stuck in the thought, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to help you, client. I'm not good enough. And they're trying to tell me their story and what's happened to them. And all I can focus on is I'm not good enough. I can't help you. I'm not good enough. I'm sorry, I'm not good enough. That doesn't seem very helpful. Right, so pushing my thoughts away doesn't work. Focusing and getting all stuck in my thoughts doesn't work. So what's my alternative? How about this? How about I put this piece of paper on my lap? Okay, you can't see it, but it is on my lap. It's still there. It's still in my vision. It hasn't completely gone. I can see it. I can notice it. How much more energy do I have? How much easier is it for me to engage with what is meaningful right now? I can still see it. I can feel myself wanting to glance at it every now and then. But then coming back to what's in front of me and what I'm doing right now in the present moment. Imagine if we can learn skills that can allow us to do just that. Have those thoughts there, notice them, be aware of them, but not spend all of our energy trying to push them away and not spending all of our time stuck and focused on them. In fact, think about if we could be more engaged in the present moment by not pushing thoughts away or getting stuck in them. Being able to get some distance from our thoughts, so be able to place them on our lap. They're still there, we can still notice them and see them, but then also being aware that we are able to do that. We can notice what we are noticing and are more than just our thoughts. And when we can do that, we can take action in things that are meaningful to us and try and live the life that we want, instead of being pushed around by those thoughts. Imagine if we could do all of those things, or at least try to do all of those things better than we do now. Well, we can, and that is at the heart of ACT. And that is why I usually use this exercise with everyone, because it explains it so well. Every time I try this with a client, their feedback to me is like they've never considered thoughts in this way before, and they find it so helpful. And then we have to go on to try and learn skills and techniques and exercises that allow them to practice how to be able to have their thoughts on their lap. Because this is just a metaphor and explanation of what we're trying to achieve. So we need to learn the skills and exercises that allow us to actually do that. And that's what I will go through in some of my next videos. So to recap, write down your thoughts, feelings, images, memories, anything that comes up often for you that gets in the way of your life. Bring to mind everything that is meaningful to you in your world, every person, every place, every activity. Push the paper away from you as hard as you can to simulate pushing thoughts away. Keep pushing. And notice what effect that has on how tiring it is, what it does with your attention, and how well you can engage in your world. Now repeat that with bringing the paper all the way in front of your face to simulate getting caught up in thoughts. Ask the same questions. How tiring is this? What does it do with your attention? And how well can you engage in the world? Now, let the paper sit on your lap. And what do you notice? Is it easier? What's it like having the paper still there in your vision? You can still see it. But what about how you engage with the world? Please remember, this is a metaphor, so it's not so much the actual skill or technique to be practiced. We're going to look at that in a further video, so please subscribe for more.